Thank you for joining me. I am Dr. Natasha Oquendo, and this is Invitation to Queendom Book Club series. This is part 5 of the series. Listen, today we're going to get right into it. I want to talk about it. I think it's something that needs to be said, right? And to be understood. It's a process. That's right. It is a process. Your life is a process. Everything concerning our lives consists of processes, right? And so let's look at the word process. When we talk about a process, it is a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a specific result. The next thing about a process is it is a series of actions that produce a change or lead to a particular development, right? And it is also a natural or involuntary series of changes, right? And the example gives us the aging process. That's an involuntary series of changes. We're going to get older, right? Every minute, every second, every day, every month, every week, every year. That is the aging process. So that is involuntary. Now, voluntary processes consist of maybe going to for a job, right? Going for training. That is a process. Even going to school, which is involuntary, from grade school, middle school, high school, and then the voluntary kicks in with college. That's something you can decide to do. But everything consists of processes, right? And so what I want to bring about today is to understand that your process is a journey, right? I want you to begin to look at the processes of your life, that you're being conditioned for a marathon. It's a long haul thing, not a 50-yard dash, right? And reason I'm coming with that is because I felt the need to try to remove the anxiety out of it, the rush out of it. For some reason, we're in such a rush now, and wanting to just trust God with your process. Trust him with the processes you're going through in your life, in your relationships, in your business, in your ministry, every area of your life, trusting him through the process. And with that being said, I don't want you to limit yourself to slow movement, even though we're saying it's a marathon, but I do want you to pace yourself for the long run, right? Anybody who knows anything about running, I used to run. And the interesting thing was I had the ability to run long distance and short distance. And I came to realize that was a little different. Now, with that being said, I wasn't the fastest on the team when I ran long distance, right? But I wasn't the slowest either. I held my own. I could sub in the 440 relay, and I always ran the curve, either the first leg or the third leg of the 440 relay. And also, I used to run the 2 mile, right? I used to place pretty good in those particular events, but I came to realize that was an odd thing to be able to run, to be able to be a sprinter and to be able to run long distance running, if that makes sense. But I said that to say, I don't want to limit you to thinking that your process is just this turtle movement, but more so to focus on pacing yourself. And that was something that I learned as I ran the 2 mile. To pace myself, right? To really condition myself to be able to think about the race of running not too slow, but not too fast. And I learned it the hard way because I used to start out taking off in the beginning of the race like a jackrabbit, just pew. But by the time it was time to come around midway the race, you start slowing down, you start losing momentum. And I think the same thing happens when we don't know or condition our mind to believe and know that this is This process is more so a marathon. This journey is more so a marathon and not a 50-yard dash. Now, not saying some things won't come about quickly for you, but just pacing yourself and conditioning your mind to continue on. And I say that because maybe you're in the process of trying to get healthy. Well, that's a marathon. And a lot of times we try to do things to make it more of a 50-yard dash or more of a 100-meter dash, a 100-meter race to be over pretty quickly. But even when you take different alternative routes, you still boil down to having to make a lifestyle transformation in order to maintain, right? And so that was just a little example that I wanted to use. Now, when I'm talking about this, to pace yourself and to look at this thing as a journey within your life, whether it's the area of faith, right? Your faith is a lifelong journey, right? And so you must pace yourself if you're going to stay in that race with yourself concerning your faith, right? Healing, wholeness, weight loss, your life, ministry, business, relationships, all of these are different journeys and different processes, right? And so let me bring some attributes concerning your process. First thing I want you to know is that your process is like a tailor-made suit, right? When I think about that, that means that your process is made just for you. You think about that tailor-made suit, right? When you think about a tailor-made suit, it's going to be made perfectly for you according to your measurements, according to your size, width, length, right? Diameters, all of that. You start dealing with the measurements of a thing. So your process is a tailor-made suit. Meaning you can't compare yourself to somebody else. That will keep you from getting anxiety or getting anxious about it, right? Because man, it seems like they're moving ahead. It seems like they're getting it done. But you begin to pace yourself because it's a journey. And when you look to that left or to that right, you don't know what all that person has endured and what all they have encountered to be where they are in their journey. You don't know when it began, when it started, or when it's going to end, right? And you don't know the depths of what God could be putting in the makeup of that individual, right? And so with that being said, I want to give an example. The best example that comes to my mind biblically when I think about this is when you had David going up to be anointed as king, but Saul offered to let him wear his armor. Well, his armor was tailor-made for him, so it didn't fit David, right? So David had to do what was tailor-made for him to be in the position and to have the victory. Same thing with you, but not saying that Saul could not mentor David for the position because he was already in the position of a king, right? And so the logistics of that, he could mentor him and give him the advice and train him on the position. But the process that God was taking David through was just a little bit different. Another example comes to my mind. I think about Moses, and then I think about Joshua. The scripture even said that Joshua had a different spirit, but Moses was still his mentor because why? He was leading. He was in that position of leadership to that magnitude, right? And so these are different things to say. Just because your process may be a little different and it is a tailor-made suit for you, doesn't mean that God won't give you mentors or give you instructors or give you people that can help groom you and lead you along the way, right? You just may experience different things within different areas at different times, if that makes sense. And that was another thing concerning the process being a tailor-made suit, time frames. Somebody else may be going through something at a particular time, and you may be in a different space at that time. But that's why you can't really judge a thing before it's time, because you never know if you may meet that particular trial or testing or temptation or opportunity, right, at a different time. So Focusing on your tailor-made suit and what you are being made of is the key. Second thing I want to bring out, right? Well, I do want to say this, even in the tailor-made suit, even in that process. Let me give you an example. If someone is going through a process of healing, the ultimate goal is healing, right? But someone's process to healing may be slightly different. I think about different times where one time in particular, when I was healed, I went through this process and I went through fasting and praying, and the supernatural healing of God came upon my life and healed my body in that particular instance. Now, someone else may go through a healing where they go through the doctors and go through a process that is taken through a more natural process, but you can't omit God from that process because it still takes him. He has to give the doctors the wisdom, and he has to give you what you need to go and endure the process to get to the ultimate goal. Both processes are legitimate. They're different, but the goal remains the same, which is trying to be healed or pain management or whatever the case. Now, number 2, every part, which is every phase of your process or your journey, is important, right? It is significant. I want you to know that every particular part of your process, your journey, is important. It is significant. And the reason I talk about that, we have extraordinary times. We have great times within that process. We have the good times. And those are normally the times that we enjoy. But we also have the bad times, right? And we also have the ugly times, right? But those are legitimate parts of that process where they are important. And you have to pay attention through all phases of your process. Be present in your process. Be present in your life. Pay attention to the things that are going on, right? Whether it's celebratory times, uncomfortable times, right? The best times, the worst times, the high times, the low times, the good decisions, the bad decisions, all of it is ingredients and makeup, right? For you, tailor-made for you. Now, the thing I think about biblically is how the scripture said it in Ecclesiastes, that there is a time and a season for everything under the sun, right? So there's a time and season for everything under the sun, whether it is death, whether it is life, whether it is being born, listen, good, bad, ugly, everything is inclusive, but you cannot treat it insignificantly. Be within those moments. There are going to be moments where you have grief. There are going to be moments where you have loss. There are going to be moments where you have vacations and good times and all of that. Pay attention. Be present in all of it and learn, right? Now, number 3, which will be the last point I want to make. Within the process, it is an unveiling or a revealing. So what is being revealed and what is being unveiled in that process? First and foremost, who you are is being revealed to you. It is a lifelong process of learning who you are, what your purpose in life is. And let me say this. In each phase of your process, your purpose is being nurtured and being uncovered and being conditioned. If that makes sense, you're being molded. So that's why I say each part is significant. Each part is important. It is causing you to evolve and causing you to unveil who you are. Now that is revealing the good, the bad, the wonderful, the magnificent, and the ugly of you. Who you are as an individual is being revealed, right? The next thing I know that it is unveiling and revealing is your strengths and your weaknesses. Nothing wrong with having weaknesses, right? I think the mature thing is to be able to identify your weaknesses and to work around those weaknesses, right? That's when you get people who may have strengths in areas where you may be weak and you all can make it happen. That's when you start getting around others for the greater good, right? And that's okay. You don't have to compare yourself to anybody, but you recognize your own strengths and you recognize your own weaknesses and you accommodate them, right? Um, and I guess I want to give an example. Somebody who may be on the faith journey, right? That process is unveiling and revealing who God is, right? God is revealing himself. Your giftings are revealing themselves, your calling, your purpose, right? And you're being nurtured throughout that process. And I want you to look at it like this. I think about an onion. This is what comes to mind, an onion. And when you get an onion, right, and you get ready to eat that onion or cook that onion, you peel off the layers. You peel back the layers of that onion. And so you got to look at your process as if it is peeling each phase of that process, every extraordinary moment, every amazing moment, every good moment, every average moment, every bad moment, every ugly moment. What it is doing is peeling back the layers of who you are and peeling back the layers of your purpose. Right. And so I wanted to share this because I didn't want you to get caught up in this to where you didn't really understand that it is a process. So if I could just suck all the air out of it, pull all the anxiousness out of it and get you to enjoy every phase of your process, because that's exactly what it is. And listen, the end result is going to happen. You just don't quit the process. You don't give up. You learn everything that you need to learn within that phase. In each phase, learn what to do, what not to do. What you get what I'm saying? You're learning all of these wonderful things. And even in that, you're seeing who you are and what your potential is and what your weaknesses are and what your strengths are. Where you're gifted at, where you're not so gifted at, where you're anointed at, right? What you're graced to do versus what you're not graced to do. To me, it is a balanced thing to know the strengths and weaknesses, the highs and lows, the goods and bad concerning yourself. All of that is self-care, self-awareness, right? And then getting to the place of what? Self-mastery. Also coming to the place, even if it's your faith, learning your fears, right? Learning the different things that make you tick, learning the different things that get you motivated to succeed, and what things hinder you and stop you. So all of these different things are being revealed to you within the process. Listen, I speak life to you and strength to you, and learning ability, perception to you throughout your process, that you will embrace it, that you will enjoy every moment of it, that you will have moments in it, right? And that you would come through the processes in a healthy place, reaching your goal, right? This is Invitation to Queendom. This is the 5th part of the series on the book club. Listen, click the link, go to my website, natashaoquendo.com. Get the free gift, right? That I want to be a blessing to you. Also, order the book. These are different little pieces of concepts that I'm pulling from the book to help you. Hopefully, it encourages you and motivates you to keep on fighting the good fight, right? Till next time, be blessed. Love you.